In the previous video, we implemented the middle part of the story. In this video, we'll wrap up the story and write all the dialogue for that. With two more states to write. The first is when you give the spell to the wizard, and the second is when you give the spell to the king. So let's write the node for king.gave spell to king. At a new node, king.gave spell to king. This is very much an end of game state. All this will do is have the king repeatedly say, "Excellent, I'm happy to have received the spell." So the very first time we say, "Excellent," this will keep her in line, and the second time it's, "Maybe I can use this to get her to teach me how to do spells." We go through other lines and we finally start looping on the king to saying, "Thanks," because a short, simple line is often a really good indicator to the player that you've reached the end of the content and it's time to move on to do something else in the game. However, if we gave the spell to the wizard, and remember, that's done by choosing, yes, I'll give the spell to you in the wizard's spell found node, we have a different node to run. Move over here just to make a bit more space. Make a new node, and this is king.gave spell to wizard. The structure of gave spell to wizard is practically identical to gave spell to king. All that will happen is the king will speak different lines based on how many times we've run this node. So the very first time, the king will say, "You've made a big mistake. You keep setting things on fire. You set fire on fire once." Eventually ending on this very short, indistinct, angry muttering, which is often a good indicator to players that we're done. Whenever I've playtested this game with other people, I found that the very first time they see angry muttering, they never actually bother talking to the king after that. So it's a really good sign that this is a good short line to say, yes, end of content. That said, when you're writing your own games, always playtest with real people. So that's gave spell to king and gave spell to wizard for the king. Now we just need to write two more nodes for when the wizard is in the gave spell to wizard and gave spell to king states. If we gave the spell to the wizard and then we go and speak to the wizard, then we'll run a new node called wizard.gave spell to wizard. Again, structurally identical. The wizard is thanking you. The wizard goes, "Thank you," and then the second time, "My cat's going to hate me even more now, haha." And the second time is, "Did you know that if your eyes are made out of gold, all clothes are invisible?" And again, ending on just a very short, "Thanks." And our last node to write is if we speak to the wizard and we're in the game state, gave spell to king. So we'll make a new node, wizard.gave spell to king. And again, same structure. The wizard is going to complain and say, "You gave it to him, now he'll be able to do reverse anything I do. This means bad things for me." With this done, we can now playtest our entire story. Let's save the file and return to Unity. We'll hit the play button, and we'll go over here. Let's speak to the king first. Go talk. King goes, "Help, my wizard's an idiot." Blah, blah, blah. Wood, economic problems, turn to gold. Can you help? Let's say she turned us over to gold. She's never done anything like this before. I mean, she turned a table into meat once, but everyone loved that. So now we're still in the start state. We don't yet know about the spell. And if we go over to the bush, player will go, "I'm not sticking my hand there because we don't know about a spell." So we have to speak to the wizard to progress to the next stage of the game. Tap talk. Wizard goes, "Ah, notice we didn't go, 'What's this weird gold statue?' Because now we've already been established that this weird gold statue is the wizard." That changes the reading of the line, "huh," as well. So you can make a line have different interpretations for different situations purely based on previous context. So why did you want to turn your cat into gold? Because he's a jerk. So we're going to learn about why the wizard did it, then we'll move on to how the player can help. Learn about the spell, learn why the wizard can't tell you where it is. If we go over and speak to the king, by the way, we'll end up with a different line. King goes, "I don't know what to do. Maybe there's a clue to fix it near her house." And that's reasonable because the king does not know that you've spoken to the wizard. If the king was closer visually to the wizard, then you might be able to do stuff like, "Oh, I overheard you saying to the wizard that you'd help out, and something about a spell reversal spell." So let's go get the spell. Tap talk. "Hey, it's a spell. Hooray." Now we're in the found spell stage. Let's walk over to the wizard, tap talk, and they go, "Oh, good, you found the spell. If you can put it into my hand, I can cast it. Hopefully it won't explode and kill us all. Can you roll it up and put it in my hand, please?" And we'll choose not yet. And they go, "Okay, all right." And if we talk to her again, we skip over the whole thing and go straight to, "Can you give it to me?" And we can choose not yet. Likewise, we can go and speak to the king. And the king goes, "Ah, that's a spell reversal spell." And the king explains, I don't think we can trust the wizard. So we're giving a reason for why the player should give the spell to the king. We want to imply the wizard barely has control over her own powers. Even though I kind of wrote the story to vaguely favor the wizard, like it's nice for the wizard to have control over her own ability, maybe there's a reason why her power should be controlled. So if we choose maybe later, then the king will go, don't take too long. Let's move on to the next stage. We'll go over to the wizard. We'll tap talk. This says, can you give it to me? Let's say, sure. The wizard goes, sweet. I'll hold on to this because I only have one sprite. And now we're in the gave spell to wizard stage, and the king will not be happy. You've made a big mistake. She keeps setting things on fire. She set fire on fire once. And if we talk to him again, then we're going to go on to the next thing. It's not fair. Hereditary rulers deserve all the power of people they can get, etc. And that is the end of the story. We're not quite done yet, because there's a little bit of polish left to do. We need to have a really nice action-adventure soundtrack. Also, a couple of bugs for us to clear up as well. So I'll see you in the next video.